Good morning, Jocelyn Variety Show fans. This is Jack Newby, Executive Director of the Jocelyn Center. Welcome to our Friday interview show. Before we start, I want to go over a few things that are happening here at the Jocelyn Center. The first thing I want to let you know about is we have a survey going on. So when you receive our newsletter, right at the top of that, there'll be a survey about returning to the Jocelyn Center as we prepare for potential reopening, and also another survey about our virtual programming. So we'd love to hear from you. That will help us plan for the future. So if you could please respond to that survey, that will really help us out a lot. Also, we want to know we're coming up with an art class, a virtual art class, and there seems to be a lot of interest in that. So if you are interested and want to sign up for that, call Melanie Lyons, our new program director, at 760-340-3220, extension 102, and she'll put you on the interest list. Also with our chat group, we've added a new feature, and that is we're doing it through Zoom, but through Zoom, you don't necessarily have to have a camera. So if you know someone who is isolated and wants to chat and just have some more interaction with people while they're still at home, they can get in touch with our chat group and again, talk with Melanie about that, and she will give you all the information about how easy it is to sign up for the chat group and to participate even if you don't have a camera. We have a special class coming up called Personal Protection for Seniors, and that's on Tuesday, April 27th at 11 o'clock. And this is a free class to teach you practical concepts in personal protection. So this is great for seniors. It's something taught by an expert who has done a lot of work in teaching seniors and older adults how to protect themselves in certain circumstances and what to do. And finally, our Jocelyn Wellness Center, we have a lot going on there. Our Popular Brain Boot Camp, it's a 2-session course. The next one is coming up in May 12th through 19th. I think the April 21st one is full, but you can check by calling Veronica at 340-3220 extension 117, and also find out about our aging mastery and problem solving strategies counseling. All of those are important, and particularly as we're starting to see some of the restrictions released, and we're getting back into the community and maybe getting back into seeing people, there may be some stress associated with that. So our counselors can really help you get through that, and it helps you solve any problems that you might have in the future as well. It gives you the tools to do that. So those are some of the things happening here at the Jocelyn Center. This morning, I'm really happy to introduce our chair yoga instructor, and that is Cheryl Krishak, and she's joining us, and she's going to talk a little about her yoga class and also about the benefits of yoga in general. So welcome, Cheryl. How are you this morning?
I'm great, and thank you very much, Jack, and hello to all of you fellow members of Jocelyn Center out there. So excited to be here today.
So let's start generally. And first, I know you teach chair yoga here at the Jocelyn Center, and you also are familiar with other forms of yoga. So tell us a little bit about yoga in general and some of the perceptions or misperceptions people might have about it.
Yeah, I think that probably a lot of people are very hesitant to do yoga because in their mind, they think of it as two different things. First, they think of it as extremely hard, and there's no way that I could do it. So people think of it as, like you got to do all these really weird poses, like bring your leg behind your head. The concept that I bring forward in my class, and I think that, you can see in different classes, is really to honor your body. You do what your body can do. So no matter what I'm instructing in a class, if your body doesn't go to that full pose, then you go to what your body can do. And there is truly all different kinds of yoga. There's power yoga, there's hot yoga, there's all kinds of yoga. What we have at the Joslin Center right now is the chair yoga, which we'll get into. The other thing that I think people are hesitant about doing yoga is they think of it as religious based. There are certainly different types of yoga that do chanting and mantras. Yoga is really a philosophy about uniting your mind, your body, and your heart. Which I think if you think about it, that's what we do all day. We bring our mind and our body together, and we're always bringing our heart to the world. So certainly a very valuable type of exercise.
I think that's important. That's one of the things we talk about. We call another version of this show on Mondays called, excuse me, Mindful Mondays.
Oh, yeah.
And we talk about mindfulness and that connection between, body, heart, and mind, and how important it is to be mindful. So I'm really glad to hear that, yoga is a way to also do that.
Yes, definitely.
What are some of the benefits of yoga?
Yeah, I go with the most important benefit is to increase your range of motion. If we don't use a muscle, we lose that muscle. So yoga assists us in expanding our range of motion, whether it be to be able to tie your shoe or whether it be to cross your legs, whether it be to, stand on one leg. It's really about expanding your range of motion. And we want to do that, obviously, so that we can continue, as Jack had mentioned at the beginning, to be able to get out in the community, to be able to go for a walk and feel comfortable. Those are all things that I think the range of motion expansion really gets to. The second thing is truly around balance. And as each of us ages, we start losing that balance. And with that loss of balance, obviously comes the hesitancy to get out. It comes with, the possibility of falls. And those are all like really scary things. So balance is not also just standing on one foot, though we do that in class with the use of the chair if we need it. But balance is really about improving your core, improving your stomach muscles, that big area right there that sits. The stronger you can get the core, the better your balance is going to be. And then with that broader range of motion, obviously you have that capability of catching yourself if you should start to trip or something like that. And finally, the last thing that I always think of yoga improving as far as our body goes is our flexibility. And that kind of goes with our range of motion. But again, being able to do things that maybe at the beginning of a series of yoga you weren't able to do, and then 4 weeks later, oh my goodness, look at, I can do that. So those are probably the three biggies from a body perspective.
Well, and I've seen miracles happen in exercise or yoga classes where people come in with a cane and don't think that they're very flexible and can't walk, and later they don't need that cane, because especially now that we're coming out of this pandemic and people are getting out more, we have spent so much time not exercising and not keeping ourselves flexible, that it's even more important to start slowly with something like yoga to gain back that flexibility, strength. So that's a really important point that you made, because the last thing someone wants to do is fall and break a hip. And staying indoors and not doing anything is not the way to prevent that. Really, the way to prevent that is to exercise and get flexibility. So tell us a little bit about now the class that you teach here, the chair yoga class, and how people can get involved in that and participate in that.
Yeah. So my chair yoga class, a couple things there. First of all, why use a chair? You know, a lot of people think, oh, chair yoga, obviously it's not really doing too much for my body. We're just sitting on chairs. Well, I would not hesitate to say that if you talk to any of the people that took my class, they are moving. The chair is really there as your prop. Instead of having to lay down on the ground or sit on the ground or kneel on the ground, we're doing all the same postures, but we're sitting in a chair instead. And I think that is or standing behind the chair, but using the chair as our prop to be able to do postures, poses that you might not be able to do otherwise. And I think that that's the huge advantage of the whole chair. It allows all people with any kind of, range of motion to be able to do yoga. So that's probably the big thing. The main goal that I always have at the end of my class is that people walk away and they say, wow, I feel good. Never to say, oh, wow, I just am so sore. I can't believe it. Because the whole concept is really to honor your body. To do what you can do and maybe go a little bit further. Always go right on the edge of that pain, right before you get to that pain point. So my class contains 3 different segments. The first one is a breathing exercise. We always start with breathing because that helps us to relax, calm ourselves. So the breathing exercises maybe takes, I would say, maybe 2-3 minutes. And it's simply maybe expanding your exhalation. It might be doing intermittent nostril breathing, where you're just breathing out of one side of your nose. It's all about relaxing that body and that mind to just be in the moment. The next part is the longest part, and that's doing the postures, poses, or exercise, if you want to look at it that way. And we do a lot, and I'm hoping that I have maybe about a couple minutes, and I don't know if I will, Jack, to show a few things of the postures. And then the last part is a brief meditation. And now don't get freaked out on that word meditation. It's not a scary word. Meditation is really sitting still and not thinking. That's really what it is. And meditation is what I do to try to get to that is simply to focus on your breathing. So you're focusing so much on that inhalation and exhalation that your mind isn't going wild, 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 thinking of all the next things that you have to do. And that's what meditation really is just totally being right in the present. So I have a brief session, probably about 5 to 7 minutes at the end that we do on that meditation.
And I think the meditation part is also very important because it does help us center ourselves, and especially after doing, the exercises and the poses during the yoga class, it's good to take that few minutes to just center, relax, and then go on with your day. Yeah. So I would like you to show us a few of the poses, but how first, before you do that, do people get enrolled in your class?
Okay, great question. Thanks. Because I have a big note to myself to plug my class. So yes, my classes are on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, and they are virtual. And you can sign up by notifying Melanie, and we'll start a new class in May. And we run the classes for a month. So it'll be the month of May, and then it'll be the month of June. So you're committing, I guess I would say, to a 1-month class. And they are $5 per class. So if we have 4 classes, it's $20 for the month of May. I don't know if it's a 4 or 5 week month, just off the top of my head. So contact Melanie. Would love to see a lot of you in my class. I think that I know that you will improve your range of motion, if nothing else.
Well, and I know if anyone checks that, that is a great deal. To go to a class, people will, pay twice that sometimes just for one class. Yes. So that's really a for the exercise and for the flexibility and for what you teach, that's a really good thing that people can start doing now, especially as we said before, getting out now and starting to walk and that sort of thing. We want to make sure we're flexible and we have our balance.
Yes, for sure.
So you mentioned about showing us
Yeah.
a few of the poses. So
Okay, let me just move my chair back and hopefully this will work. Do you see me okay?
yes.
Okay, all right, great. So some of the things that we really work on, or I guess not some, but one of the things we really work on is the movement of our spines. So it's simply being able to stretch over. So you're, extending this part, going the other way. So your spine is moving side to side, right? Very simple movements that help us both extend this and move our spine. Then the other thing that we do is rotate our spine. So it's simply doing twists to the right, twists to the left. Obviously, these are the simple warm-up ones that I'm doing right now. We do a few more. And then definitely forward and back. So forward folding, and then going back, sort of a back bend, so you can see how I'm like looking up at the sky type of thing. So those 6 movements of our spine really is the whole encompasses all of what we want to get going in yoga. The other thing that I work a lot on, because we want to keep our hips flexible, is like hip flexibility ones. So this type of movement to get those hips open is really, really beneficial. The other thing that I just wanted to show is 2 balance poses, and hopefully these will, maybe I'll go back just a touch more. So one balance pose that you can use either on the back of your chair or the front of your chair, whichever feels most comfortable for you, is simply the bird dog, which is sticking your right leg out and your left arm out straight in front of you. Now, this may not look like it's a balance pose, but trust me, it is. And then going, of course, the other way, left foot, right arm, looking out over your hand. And then you can do the same thing, as I said, on your seat, on the seat of your chair. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is probably one of the easiest balance poses. This one, we start obviously always with holding on to the chair to get your balance settled. And we go through the whole concept of how to make sure that you're standing properly, well balanced. So we go through that in class, but it's simply the star pose. So it's putting your leg out to the side, one arm goes up, and then when you feel comfortable, you raise the other arm as well. And then you balance, of course. So those are just a couple examples, I guess, of what we kind of do in class or what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, I think that's great. And I think it helps people understand a little bit more about, the types of poses that are done in the class, and that and again, they work at their own level. It's not I didn't see you put your foot behind your neck.
No. And, like that balance pose, I have some people who just stand on one foot and hold on to the chair the whole time. There's nothing wrong with that. You're learning, you're starting to make it happen. So it's honor your own body. Thank you, Jack. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Cheryl. And for people to find out more about the class, call Melanie here at the Joslin Center, and she will get you set up for that. I want to thank you all for tuning in for the Joslin Variety Show this Friday, and we will welcome you back on Monday to Mindful Mondays. So thank you and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.